Overwatch 2 just released another hotfix patch for Stadium, including a huge nerf for Freya and some buffs for other heroes. Let's have a look. Ah yes, the weekly tradition continues. The Overwatch team dropped another hotfix patch for Stadium, and it is a rather big one. Let's run over all of the changes. Diva. Focus Fusion. Decreased the fusion cannon spread to 50%, down from 66%. Ignition Burst. Increased the lava damage to 80, up from 30. Vesuvius Protocol. Increased the lava damage to 80, up from 30. Diva still has an interesting pick. She has difficulty claiming and holding on to space to help her team out. Now, these lava changes are pretty big, from 30 to 80. That is huge, and it might help out. But I have a question. How do you buff lava? Junker Queen. Royal Bullets. Increased the range to 15 meters, up from 12 meters. Increased the damage to 50, up from 30. Twisted Knife. Increased the wounds extension to 1 second, up from 0.5 seconds. Blade Parade. Increased the damage to 100%, up from 35%. Merciless Magnetism. Increased the range to 15 meters, up from 12 meters. And Thick Skull. Increased the damage reduction to 75%, up from 50%. Look, this one worries me just a tiny bit. The developer notes state that there's too much focus right now on building up her axe, and they want us to pay more attention to her knife and her gun. Fair enough. But then that Thick Skull change? That's where you lose me. In my personal experience, if I'm facing a really good Junker Queen, she'll keep herself alive through basically anything. Burst damage, tag season, a whole episode of Jersey Shore? I'm worried that she's going to become unkillable. But we'll see. Orisa, Scorched Earth. Increased the damage to 20%, up from 10%. Electrolytes. Increased the recovery rate to 50%, up from 25%. An Orisa buff. Brace yourselves. But nah, it's mainly for that one overheat build. It's going to be fine. Right? Reinhardt. Barrier Reconstruction. Increase the barrier health restoration from damage to 15%, up from 10%. Feeling the Burn. No longer applies to smashing and dampen a grip. And then dampen the grip. Increase the ability power to 15, up from 10%. So yeah, they're kind of nerfing some combinations of powers, while also buffing a power that is underused. Alright, Ashe. Out with a bang. Decrease the explosive damage reduction to 30%, down from 66%. Molten Munitions. Increase the damage to 80, up from 50. Now, they did warn that this change will not be represented correctly on the tooltip, but it will be functionally set to 80. That information is going to be updated in the next season. Reload Therapy. Increase the heal to 10%, up from 3%. Sidewinder. Increase the attack speed to 15%, up from 10%. And increase the damage to 25%, up from 15%. A little extra kick for Ashe. She needed it. Someone that doesn't is Freya. So they're nerfing her. Or kinda. It's just a huge list. Freya. Lilfeld was re-enabled. Bola from Lilfelde's slow is decreased by 60%. Bola from Lilfelde no longer pulls enemies upon direct hit. These changes will be reflected in the tooltip in a future update. So Cook. Decreased the damaging zone damage to 30%, down from 50%. And decreased the damaging zone duration to 2 seconds, down from 3 seconds. Deep Pockets. The max ammo restored from using an ability reduced to 25%, down from 50%. Forager. Max life heal per hit increased to 4%, up from 3%. Portable Zipline. Decreased the weapon power to 5%, down from 15%. Volley à deux. Increased the damage to 33%, reduced damage on additional bolts, up from 50% reduced. And Magnetic Maelstrom was disabled. So, in other words, some stuff was re-enabled, other stuff was disabled. There's a lot of nerfs, and there is a buff to an item that was being underused. I'm going to be honest, from this huge list, it's kind of hard to assess if it is going to help, if it is going to make a difference, but we'll see. Something had to be done. She was way too strong. Okay, I have to interrupt myself right here. Just as I was about to push this video live, we got news that they were also going to nerf Freya in the other game modes, which is also going to have repercussions in Stadium, of course. For her take aim, the secondary fire, the slow momentum time was reduced from 1.5 to 1 second. The reload time was increased from 1.35 to 1.5 seconds. For quick dash, the cooldown was increased from 4.0 to 4.5 seconds. And for updraft, the cooldown was increased from 10 to 12 seconds. Alright, let's continue. May. Blitznado. Increased the heal per second to 15%, up from 5%. Really? We're going to buff the demon? Fine. Soldier 76. Hunkered Down. Increased the biotic field duration to 50% reduced duration, up from 30% reduced. Chain gun decreased the weapon power per shot to 0.4%, down from 0.5%. Battery pack increased the biotic field duration to 40%, up from 30%. Rapid response radius increased the biotic field radius to 40%, up from 30%. Compression fatigues removed the 5% attack speed. I think we all know that chain gun was overused in every single build, so that had to be tackled. And they want us to use those biotic field items a little more. Ana, tactical rifle, reduced the aim tracking angle by 50%. Dashboards increased the movement speed bonus to 10%, up from 5%. And decreased the cooldown to 3 seconds, down from 4 seconds. Cluster core, while the grenade cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds per each target it hits, up from 1 second. Some more survivability for Ana, both on the close and mid-range. I love playing Ana in this mode, but she is so fragile. It's frustrating. Let's see if this helps. Juno, hyper healing, increased the overheal to 100, up from 50. Black hole increased the slow duration to 2 seconds, up from 1 second. These changes are meant to improve the utility of her hypering. I like that. I use that hypering quite a lot. I want to keep my team moving. And I think that extra overhealth is definitely going to make a difference. And then the final one. Kitty Co. Self-care. Increased the heal to 15%, up from 5%. But yeah, that was all of them. But tell me, what do you think about all of these changes? Let me know in the comments. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my patrons and YouTube members. You too can become a member over on patreon.com/theomnicpost and right here on YouTube to unlock exclusive rewards. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of my other videos. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.